Remember when farming meant something different, when machines were built to last generations, not seasons. Today, we're diving into 10 small balers that revolutionized hobby farming from the 1940s through the 1960s. These weren't just machines, they were the backbone of American agriculture, compact enough for family farms, yet tough enough to handle whatever Mother Nature threw at them. Let's explore these mechanical marvels that changed everything. Number 1, Allis Chalmers Roto Baler. The granddaddy of all-round balers, the Allis Chalmers Roto Baler holds the distinction of being America's first commercially successful round baler. Born from a Nebraska farmer's ingenuity in the 1890s, Umo Leubben's original concept was purchased by Allis Chalmers and refined into production by 1947. This Persian orange beauty produced round bales 3 feet long, ranging from 14 to 22 inches in diameter, weighing anywhere from 10 to 100 pounds, depending on moisture content and how tightly the operator packed them. What made this machine special wasn't just its innovative design, it was its practicality for small operations. The round shape naturally shed water, allowing bales to sit in fields for extended periods without spoiling. Though complex with its intricate system of springs, latches, bearings, chains, and belts requiring detailed attention, it offered something revolutionary: the ability to take hay to cattle rather than hauling it to the barn. The Roto Baler used sisal twine to tie bales, which was actually digestible in cattle stomachs, a safety feature unmatched by wire-tied competitors. The Roto Baler represented a philosophical shift in farming, though it faced an uphill battle. Despite being available from 1947, total sales reached only about 75,000 units over its entire production run, making it more of a specialized tool than a mainstream success. New Holland alone sold more square balers in single years than Allis Chalmers sold Roto Balers in total. Yet for Western ranchers and forward-thinking farmers who understood its advantages, it was pure gold. The complexity that made it challenging also made it remarkably advanced for its era. Number 2, New Holland Model 66. If the Roto Baler was the eccentric genius, the New Holland Model 66 was the reliable workhorse that defined small square baling. Introduced in 1952, this compact marvel produced 14-inch by 18-inch bales and cost a mere $1,850 compared to the larger Model 77 at nearly $2,500. The genius of the 66 lay in its size and practicality. With wheels removed, it stood only 4 feet tall, making it economical to ship, a crucial consideration when dealers were spreading modern farming across America. The Model 66 was revolutionary in reducing labor costs. Earlier pickup balers required 3 men, a tractor operator, and 2 others on the belayer to handle wire tying. Manual tie models before the automatic revolution were dusty, dangerous affairs where workers rode exposed platforms breathing hay dust while poking and twisting wires. The 66 changed all that. With New Holland's automatic tying system, 1 man on the tractor and a boy on the baler to handle occasional misties could do the entire job. New Holland ultimately sold 84,000 Model 66 balers, making it one of the most successful small balers of its era. Available in both PTO-driven and engine-powered versions, it accommodated the reality that most tractors of the early 1950s lacked live PTO and sufficient horsepower. The engine version provided live power at all times, allowing operators to clutch the tractor without stopping baler function, a crucial advantage when dealing with heavy windrows. For hobby farmers and small operations, it represented freedom from custom balers and the ability to make hay on their own schedule. The 66 truly democratized hay baling for American agriculture. If this video is stacking up some knowledge for you, smash that subscribe button. Don't be the guy watching hay get rained on. Lock it in while it's dry. More farm legends are on the way. Number 3, New Holland Model 73. Before there was the famous 66, there was the pioneering Model 73, the machine that saved New Holland from bankruptcy and launched the automatic baler revolution. Edwin Nolt's self-tie pickup baler became the basis of New Holland's resurrection, with production starting in 1940 after years of experimentation. From late 1940, New Holland produced over 20,000 Model 73 balers in 7 years, transforming them from a relatively obscure shortliner into a top-tier company that could compete with agricultural giants. The Model 73 featured Nolt's revolutionary telescoping connecting rod that maintained plunger contact with bales during tying, ensuring tight, consistent compression. This wasn't just a minor engineering detail, it was the breakthrough that made automatic tying truly reliable. Earlier attempts at automatic balers had failed because they couldn't maintain proper tension during the critical tying phase. Nolt solved this with elegant mechanical engineering that kept the plunger connected to the bale throughout the entire tying sequence. The timing of the Model 73 couldn't have been more perfect. Introduced during World War II, when agriculture faced severe labor shortages, it represented exactly what American farming needed. While other manufacturers clung to manual systems requiring multiple operators, New Holland offered a machine that could dramatically reduce labor requirements without sacrificing bale quality. The Model 73 proved that smart engineering could multiply human productivity when the country needed it most. Built during wartime restrictions on materials, it demonstrated that innovation often thrives under constraint. For farmers, it meant others could focus on retrieving and storing bales rather than 3 people riding the dusty, dangerous baler platform. Not exactly a job promotion, but certainly a safer and more efficient one. Number 4, Case Model 140. Case entered the automatic baler game with authority when they introduced the Model 140 in 1954, though they arrived fashionably late to the party. Case had dominated the hand-tie baler market before automatic systems emerged, selling train car loads of manual tie balers every year. However, company leadership's reluctance to embrace automatic technology cost them significant market share to New Holland's revolutionary systems. When Case finally committed to automatic tying, they built it right with the engineering thoroughness that made Case famous. The 140 featured robust construction typical of Case machinery, with heavy-duty components designed for commercial use rather than occasional hobby farm work. Case understood that their customers expected equipment that could handle tough conditions day after day, season after season. The Case 140 shared knotter technology developed by Pope Automatic Attachment Corp, using refined knotters that became standardized across Case's baler line. This wasn't just borrowed technology. Case refined it into a system that could handle variable crop conditions with remarkable consistency. What separated the 140 from flashier competitors was Case's agricultural DNA and practical philosophy. Case 130, 230 series balers were specifically designed for small family farms, balancing affordability with reliability rather than chasing maximum capacity numbers that look good in sales brochures. The 140 embodied this approach. It wasn't the fastest or highest capacity baler available, but it was dependable in ways that mattered to working farmers. For hobby farmers wanting equipment that would start every morning and work every time, the 140 offered that perfect middle ground between capability and cost. Case customers often bought Case because they knew any red machine would outlast its competition, and the 140 continued that tradition in the rapidly evolving world of automatic baling. Number 5, International Harvester, Model 45. When International Harvester decided to challenge New Holland's dominance, they engineered the Model 45 with typical IH thoroughness and produced it in staggering numbers. With over 102,000 units manufactured at the Memphis Works from 1946-1957, plus an additional 9,700 from another plant, the IH-45 ranks among the most successful automatic balers ever built. Among the top 4 selling automatic balers of the era, alongside the New Holland S77, S66, and John Deere 14T, the IH-45 carved out its reputation through consistent performance and unmatched dealer support. The Model 45 represented International Harvester's commitment to mechanization across all farm sizes, from hobby operations to commercial hay producers. IEH had introduced towed square balers as early as 1944 with their 50T model, giving them substantial field experience before launching the 45. This wasn't a rushed response to competition. It was a carefully engineered solution based on real-world farming experience. The 45 produced 14-inch by 18-inch bales with reliable consistency, though operators who worked with them had mixed feelings about the experience. While the 45's production numbers suggest widespread acceptance, the reality was more nuanced. Many operators who learned their trade on IH-45 balers described them as demanding machines that required skill and patience. One IH mechanic famously described the 45 as providing a front seat in hell during operation, though this same complexity meant properly trained operators could achieve remarkable results. IH built their reputation on machines that worked when others quit, and the 45 continued that tradition despite its challenges. For farmers who valued dependability over easy operation, the Red machine offered straightforward engineering with part support that extended well beyond the production years. The 45 proved that sometimes success comes not from being the easiest to operate, but from being the most reliable when it counts. Number 6, John Deere Model 14T. John Deere's entry into automatic baling brought their legendary green and yellow quality to small square baling with engineering precision that defined the brand. The Model 14T enjoyed one of the longest production runs among early automatic balers, from 1954 to 1961, testament to its solid engineering and strong market acceptance. Deere approached baler design with the same methodical engineering that made their tractors famous, focusing on reliability and operator comfort rather than flashy innovations. The 14T incorporated Deere's agricultural expertise with features that addressed real-world hay pickup challenges. It featured 104 closely spaced pickup teeth for thorough hay collection, narrow channel flange strippers extending to the flare for smooth material flow, and a crank raised pickup allowing infinite height adjustment within a 5-inch range. These weren't just impressive specifications on sales literature. They represented practical solutions to daily frustrations that plagued farmers using competitive equipment. The 5-position spring-loaded feeder forks could be adjusted to match feeding requirements to crop conditions, while adjustable 9-position hay compressors ensured consistent bale density. What made the 14T special was Deere's attention to operator experience and long-term durability. The baler featured crank-adjustable top and bottom tensioners with T-rails to ensure uniform tension, plus John Deere's unique Category 3 equal-angle 2-joint PTO system for smooth power transmission. For hobby farmers who might bale various crops throughout the season, from delicate alfalfa to tough prairie grass, this adaptability was invaluable. The 14T proved that Deere understood something fundamental about farming. Equipment needs to work reliably across diverse conditions, not just perform impressively under ideal circumstances. When farmers invested in green equipment, they expected it to work for decades, and the 14T delivered on that promise with engineering that prioritized substance over style. Number 7, Oliver Model 50. While other manufacturers chased market share with flashy advertising campaigns, Oliver quietly built the Model 50 for farmers who appreciated understated competence and superior engineering. Produced during the height of the automatic baler revolution from 1954 to 1956, the Oliver 50 represented the company's methodical approach to agricultural machinery. Always thorough, sometimes innovative, never rushed to market without proper development, Oliver had always marched to their own drummer in the agricultural equipment world, often introducing innovations years before competitors recognized their value. The Hartpar heritage that formed Oliver's foundation emphasized engineering substance over marketing flash, and the Model 50 continued this tradition with design features that prioritized function over form. While it may not have achieved the impressive sales numbers of its green, red, or orange competitors, the Oliver 50 earned deep respect among farmers who valued engineering competence over brand recognition. The Model 50's production run was relatively brief, but its impact on those who used it was lasting. Oliver understood that smaller manufacturers couldn't compete on production volume or dealer networks, so they focused on building superior machines that would outlast and outperform mass-produced competitors. For hobby farmers seeking equipment from a company that understood agricultural challenges without the marketing hype, the Oliver 50 offered that rare combination of capability and humility. The Model 50's legacy lies not in production numbers or market dominance, but in proving that smaller manufacturers could compete with agricultural giants through superior engineering and attention to detail. Oliver customers often remained loyal for life, not because of dealer incentives or flashy paint schemes, but because Oliver consistently delivered machines that simply worked better than the competition. In an era of rapid technological change, the Model 50 represented stability and proven engineering principles. Number 8, New Holland S66 Super Square Baler. Building on the remarkable success of the original Model 66, New Holland introduced the S66 Super Square Baler as an upgraded evolution that incorporated 2 years of field experience and customer feedback. Produced from August 1955 to September 1957, the S66 represented New Holland's commitment to continuous improvement rather than radical redesign, a philosophy that kept them ahead of competitors who changed designs just for change's sake. The Super designation wasn't just clever marketing. It reflected genuine enhancements based on thousands of hours of real-world operation with the original 66. New Holland engineers had listened carefully to farmer feedback about everything from pickup performance in difficult conditions to nodder reliability in dusty environments. The S66 incorporated these improvements while maintaining the compact size and affordable pricing that made the 66 famous among small operators. And these refinements made the S66 more reliable in varying crop conditions while preserving the straightforward operation that made New Holland balers popular. The S66 represented an era when manufacturers actually improved their products based on user experience rather than simply changing them to drive new sales. New Holland understood that their reputation depended on machines that worked reliably in farmers' fields, not just engineering labs. The S66's improvements were subtle but meaningful. Better pickup tooth design, refined nodder timing, improved tensioning systems, the kind of evolutionary engineering that makes good machines great. For hobby farmers who had witnessed the 66's success but wanted the latest refinements, the S66 offered that perfect blend of proven technology and modern improvements. It represented New Holland's golden era of baler development, when each new model built thoughtfully on its predecessor's strengths rather than chasing entirely new design directions. The S66 proved that sometimes the best innovation comes from perfecting existing technology rather than reinventing it completely. Number 9, Massey Ferguson Model 3. When Massey Ferguson entered the American small baler market with the Model 3, they brought international perspective and global agricultural engineering to domestic farming. Known as the Model 703 in the UK and 803 in France, the Model 3 represented a truly global approach to agricultural equipment design, adapted for American conditions but informed by diverse farming practices worldwide. This international heritage gave Massey Ferguson insights that purely domestic manufacturers often lacked. Massey Ferguson's approach differed significantly from purely American manufacturers who designed primarily for North American crops and conditions. Their international experience with diverse farming systems, varying crop types, and different seasonal patterns resulted in balers designed for versatility rather than specialization for specific regional conditions. The Model 3 reflected this philosophy with features that performed well across various hay types and field conditions, from traditional timothy and clover to more challenging crops that stumped competitors. The Model 3's design incorporated lessons learned from operations across Europe, where smaller fields, different crop varieties, and varying moisture conditions demanded more adaptable equipment. This translated into machines that could handle unexpected challenges with greater flexibility than equipment designed specifically for ideal American Midwest conditions. For American hobby farmers, this adaptability often meant better performance in marginal conditions that might defeat more specialized equipment. Massey Ferguson understood that small-scale operators often dealt with whatever hay was available locally rather than specialized crops grown under controlled conditions. The Model 3 offered a different perspective on baler design, equipment that succeeded through adaptability rather than specialization. This international DNA often translated into machines that handled unexpected challenges with greater resilience, making them particularly valuable for hobby farmers who couldn't always control their baling conditions as precisely as commercial operations. Number 10, New Holland Model 77. If the Model 66 was New Holland's compact success story, the Model 77 was their bold statement of serious commercial intent. Produced from 1949 to 1953, the 77 represented New Holland's answer to farmers needing higher capacity while maintaining the reliability of automatic operation. This wasn't simply a larger version of the 66, it was an entirely different approach to automatic baling, designed for operators who needed commercial productivity. The Model 77 was significantly larger than the beloved 66, producing heavier 16-inch by 18-inch bales compared to the 66's more manageable 14-inch by 18-inch bundles. This size difference wasn't just about marketing bigger numbers, it represented a fundamental shift towards serving different farming operations. While the 66 suited hobby farms and smaller operations perfectly, the 77 targeted commercial hay operations and larger farms that needed serious daily tonnage capacity. The Model 77's engineering reflected New Holland's growing confidence in automatic baling technology and their understanding of diverse market needs. Though described by some as a monster, an albatross looking in size compared to the compact 66, it proved that automatic systems could handle serious commercial work without sacrificing reliability. The 77 featured the same proven automatic tying system as smaller models, but with everything scaled up for sustained high-volume operation. For hobby farmers who might expand their operations or take on custom work for neighbors, the 77 represented capability waiting to be unleashed. It offered the reliability and ease of operation that made New Holland famous, but with the capacity to handle serious acreage when needed. The Model 77 proved that automatic baling wasn't just a convenience for small operators, it was a legitimate technology for any scale of operation. In an era when many still doubted whether automatic systems could handle commercial demands, the 77 provided convincing proof that the future of baling lay in mechanization rather than manual labor. These 10 small balers represent more than just agricultural machinery. They embody an era when American ingenuity met practical farming needs. From the revolutionary Roto baler to the dependable New Holland models, each machine tells a story of innovation, persistence, and the pursuit of farming efficiency. While modern technology has moved beyond these vintage workhorses, their legacy lives on in every field where hay feeds livestock. For hobby farmers seeking that perfect balance of capability and character, these mechanical marvels remind us that sometimes the best innovations are the ones that simply work. Don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into agricultural history that shaped America.